Hello, everybody. Travelers. Okay, I'm gonna do a new. So, let me know if this fucks up. Huh? Huh? Let me know if music is too loud. I'm adjusting. This is a new thing for me. Hello, Jack Jack. There's Jack. I get a little giddy every time I see my animation intro for Cozy. Not gonna lie. You know what? That is fair. Oh. Second. Music good? Okay. Cool. Anyway, hello everybody. Let me see what we got. We got Kami, Hydra, obviously. Poppy is here temporarily, which is good because this is not a Poppy safe stream, so you are very welcome here for cabin news, but go before it gets too scary. And Toast, beloved Toast. I'm very happy to have Toast here, even if it's just in spirit. Okay. Okay, let me get that up. Totes goat toast. That hurt to say mentally, just a little bit. Okay. This pet Jack for me. He's dying apparently without my love. Anyway, hello, everybody. Welcome, traveler. Have a fun one to do today. Some people know it, some people don't. It's called the Bjork Stalker, but we won't get into that just quite yet. Actually, we do have some cabin news to get into, so let me go ahead and start with my usual of I have an adorable ghost cup today. Also, you're using Cozy today? Kiwi's cozy? Kiwi's cozy! Yes! I had a dumb moment. Yes, I had a dumb moment. But yes, this is the chibi that Kiwi made for me, and I greatly appreciate it. Cozy's Kiwi cozy. That's where I got confused. I was thinking mentally of a very comfortable kiwi, the fruit, wrapped up in like a little blanket or something, and I was like, yes, Kiwi is cozy today. Right. It's a how-to, right? No, it is not a how-to. It's an anti-how-to, actually. It's a don't do that. Don't do it. And adjust my key. Yeah. Much better. I should have checked that before I started streaming. Oh well. It's like when I hear, oh, it's a chaotic cozy, the genre stream. I'm like, bruh, Moff is collabing with me? Dope. Dude, anytime somebody says cozy, I'm like, what? They're like, no, like the sweater's cozy. That doesn't look anything like me. God. New project, yes. Yes, there's new projects around and about. Which actually, thank you, Kami. That transitions us directly, actually, back to cabin news, which I need to do before my brain just dies, apparently. My brain just died. Anyway, today's tea is actually caffeinated, which might be a problem, which might be why I'm behaving like this. So, blame the tea. Poppy just audibly snapped no when you said new projects. It's just one project. Just one. Really soft. Anyway, I have English breakfast tea today. As you can see, it's very light. No new projects, no bad bap. It's a really cute one though, Poppy. You'll see it in just a second. It's really cute. It's gonna be really nice. Give it a chance. Give it. Oh no, she's gonna bap. Yeah, she's gonna bap me. I can feel it. I'm gonna get back. I'm gonna get. Yeah, I know. Anyway, let me get started on projects because I do actually have news for projects. So let me start with the least noticeable progress. You're gonna be proud of me though, overall. Newsy news. Yes, and hello Marshall today. Okay, so cabin news. I have been working on Pop's blanket, my grandfather's blanket, and I actually get this to gonna see about this. I totally didn't do this randomly an hour ago. But if you'll notice in the picture that's right there, this is a previous picture of what my grandfather's blanket looked like, and I did a new row. You can totally tell the difference, I swear. So I've only done one row, but you know, it's a work in progress, right? So this is the one that I barely had any progress on. But we're working on it, you know, one day at a time. And for anybody who wants to ask, I have no idea what the yarn is. I have no idea what type of yarn it is. I'm doing my pattern for it, and it's for my grandfather. It is made from yarn from my grandmother that she left to me when she died, and I have no idea what it is. Just yarn. Okay, exciting update though. My Winnie the Pooh scarf is officially at the border stage. I am now done with the actual pink of Piglet, and I am now at the actual border. I took a screenshot of it. Huh? So now, look. It actually is starting to have a border. Woo, yay. Yes, I'm very excited. It's coming along. It's looking good. I'm very ecstatic about this. Border stage, get the scarf, it's invading. Yes. Look, we want a strong border, okay? We can't have any of the yarn leaking out, you know? I was about to say something that could be taken out of context poorly. So, yay, good job. Good job, Cozy. Anyway, so that is my exciting progress on this. Very, very happy. And last but not least, the other project that I had talked about, was very excited about, but I was like, is the wedding blanket project. Now, I have talked about this. It's been my project for 4 years. But look at the progress from last time, okay, to now. You could barely notice a difference, but there is. So last time I had actually only gotten up to there. So I had done 2 basic stitches and then a double stitch, and then that was it. And now I have got my second row of single stitches and my double stitch. So I'm actually uber close to getting this done. Like, it's kind of driving me nuts. I'm about to get this done. And this is why Poppy shouldn't bat me, is because I'm going to finish with this week. That is my goal. So yes, I will be starting a new project, but I will be finishing a project. So therefore, it's okay. Poppy, come on, Poppy, come on. Yes! that makes logical sense to everybody here. I think so. Hydra, does that make sense to you?
Huh?
That if I finish one project, I could start another?
Yes, dear.
He says yes, dear. That's still like 11 active projects. Who cares about the... Yeah, I know. This won't be a short project, though, so I'll get that done really quickly. I promise. I swear. So, with that one being almost done, and then I've been really itching to start a new project. And that's where we are right now. Let me get... Do that no more. Oh. Okay. I believe you for now. It's gonna be short. Okay. So, here's what's happening with this project. Let me... So, this project, here's the thought process. Okay, here's what I want to do. I really want to make a really nice shawl for myself. And I have had this yarn for quite some time. So I did not purchase any yarn, which makes it like really a lot better, honestly, because I didn't spend any money on this. I mean, I did previously, but we're not talking about that. And this has got to be the softest, most buttery yarn I ever, and I love it. It feels like butter from Lion's brand, Big Shock, my favorite yarn brand. And it is like this super soft, like fuzzy, not upsettingly fuzzy, but just super soft and squishy. So squishy. In the color mint, if anybody wants to replicate. And I just wanted to make a shawl for it with it because it's so soft and squishy, and I emotionally needed it. Yes, emotionally needed it. So this is the project I'm going to work on tonight while we're doing the Bjork Stalker. But the real question is like, how do you start a project, right? If you started a crochet project. So on the label, they have recommended, so this is the yarn size. It says 4. I know but it says 4, so that is the weight of the yarn. Recommended needle size, so this is if you're knitting, and it recommends size 7 or 4.5. And crochet hook, which is what we're going to do today, and it recommends 4mm or G, but I think I'm going to do a little smaller because I kind of want a very tight woven thing so that they could be extra. So if it recommends a 4, I think I'm going to look for... Welcome to my chaos stash of hooks, by the way. I think I'm going to look for a 3.5 to a 3. So here's a 3. And here's a 4. So you'll notice ever so slightly that they are ever so slightly different sizes. So this is a G and this is an E. And I just really wanted that really tight woven. So we'll see how this works. Worst case scenario, I'll have to frog it and redo it. Frogging, by the way, is when I undo a project. That's the terminology for undoing a project. Is frogging. Why is it called frogging? No idea. None. Absolutely no clue. So that means that now what I need is my measuring tape, because I would like it to be about 15 inches long, if you're feeling froggy. I mean, I also have heard rumors that the reason why it's called frogging is because when you rip the yarn out, it goes rip and it sounds like a frog. How do you resist the all-consuming urge to use your knitting powers for evil? Well, that, Dan, is a top secret thing because how do I explain that sometimes I don't not use it for evil. Sometimes I do use it for evil, and that evil is behind me in the wall of yarn that I have purchased that is sitting there waiting for me. Yep. Okay. Let me... Anyway, so when you see this, this is my, when I bring this out, this is the pile of needles and hooks that I have. And then I have more over here. I have a lot. It's so much so that they're going to take up a lot of space on my desk. So I'm going to go, hey, Hydra. Put those somewhere temporary. Thanks. Thanks, Hydra.
Approaching on my space again.
Love you. Anyway, so that is what we're going to work on. I really want it to be roughly 15 inches wide. About there. I'm thinking it's 15 or 20 actually. 20 would be better. It'd be wider. We're gonna go with 20. We'll go with 20. And I'm not gonna make this into a whole crochet tutorial, but it's gonna be a semi crochet tutorial because that's just what happens. Jack's bed a little. Is here. Okay. Yeah, beautiful. This stream is probably going to be a little bit shorter than last stream because I did 2 hours last week, and that was a lot. That was a lot last week, but it was a good conversation about tarot, and I think it was really great. Kind of hit. Alright. Actually, you know, I could do without fucking answers no. I learned a lot. Oh, good, Kami. I'm glad that you learned a lot because it was a big conversation. That was 2 hours of just talking about tarot cards, which is a lot. I missed the notification because I was grabbing a Snickers bar. Hello. Hi, Gamma. And you know what? That is the most fair reason to ever miss a notification I think I've ever heard. I don't personally like Snickers bars, but a candy bar I totally understand. We are currently still involved in cabin news. I am trying to undo this yarn a little bit so I can get started on my new project. Gonna be a cute little shawl. And yes. So how are we all doing this evening now that I am unraveling and totally not using this as time to stretch out things while I unravel this? How are we all doing? How is everybody's week? Haven't seen anybody since last week. Yep. Mind me. That'll be enough. Okay. Oh. Fish? I don't have the fish thing, Toast. I'm sorry. I plan on getting it. At the bank I stop by every day for work. One of the tellers is making a sweater. She told me about saddle shoulders today. That is so much more advanced than what I do. But I am aware of saddle shoulders. Yell at Hydra to check his notifications, everyone. Hydra, you need to check your notifications. So saddle shoulders are usually like this really neat way of doing a shoulder pattern in a sweater, and they're really cool. I just can't do them because they're too advanced. I've been doing this for over a decade, but I'm still kind of newbie at this stuff, as this is quickly becoming a I can't find the end of my yarn. So oh, the other thing with this is that I want to do a very specific pattern for this, where basically it's kind of a little stretchy thing, and it has like a nice like rib texture, and that's what I want to do for this. So we'll see if I can get that accomplished while also talking. That is the question. All right. I believe with that, about 30 minutes of cabin news. She just stitched up the armpits on the sleeves the other day. Oh, yeah, that's good. It's a lot better than what I have. The sweater I've been working on for years now is still technically a vest. Just vest. It doesn't actually have sleeves yet. It's on the desk right over here for me to work on as a project I need to finish before I can do other things. I'm ignoring that today because I want to start this. This is where I get in trouble. Alright. And with this, I don't know if our sweet Poppy is watching, but I think this is probably going to be the time that Poppy should go to beddy bye, because it's about to become a not Poppy safe stream. Not that I don't love my dear Poppy, and that I hope that she has a lovely night and she sleeps well. But this is where we start getting into the not safe for Poppy. Yes, NSPF. Yes. FP. What did I say? Well, close enough. I need to make that thing for you. Yes. That a thing for you. Yes, actually. Yes, please. Sad Poppy. Like an alert screen. Yes, that would be great, actually. Let me hear my typing. I'm sure you can. I just need to put the trigger warnings. I forgot I had that. My bad. I'm muted. We're good. Can everybody hear me now? Are we all good? I accidentally muted myself. Because I'm dumb. Anyway, let me repeat that. So we're going to be talking about some mental illness things that have happened in this story of the Bjork Stalker. We're going to be talking about some mental illness. Also some sewer slide. and unaliving. Attempted unalivings, I guess. So if you mentally are just not feeling cool with that, then I would go ahead and head on out. Kermit sewer slide, yes. So I would go ahead and head out if you're mentally just kind of, protect your own peace. That's gonna be the big thing about my streams. Protect your own peace. Could be worse, watching a friend the other day who forgot to mute and went to the bathroom. That is terrifying. And absolutely not. Never. That's so scary to me. Ugh. Okay. Alright, let me go ahead. Remember that? Oof. That's like a terrifying thing to me. I would actually really hate if that ever happened. Thankfully, I don't have those types of headphones, so it wouldn't ever happen. But that still doesn't mean that I wouldn't abstractly hate that. Okay. I am being a bad streamer, pulling up my notes. So please forgive. It gives Poppy time to head out. Okay. There we go. Notes. Yay. We love a good set of notes. Okay. So let's right. And let me go ahead and up some pictures for everything so we can all get immersed. All right. Click. There we go. All right. So this is in our little picture corner here. This is Ricardo Lopez. And he was born in Montevideo, Uruguay, on January 14th, 1975. Okay. And he is the subject of our conversation today because of what he has decided to do. Now, he looks like a very nice guy, actually. Like, I feel like this whole story, honestly, I feel like could have been fixed if he had had a friend, a genuine friend who probably kept him out of the house a little bit, not just sitting there spinning in his own mind. He would have been fine. But, well, that didn't happen. That's why we're here today. Alright? So, let's go ahead and get into it. Now, Ricardo. He had been previously diagnosed with Klinefelter's syndrome. I horrendously butchered that, but just go with it, okay? Also known as KS for short, which I will probably call it KS from like here on out because that's easier for me to say. And he had been diagnosed, and what KS is basically is when you have an extra chromosome, as you can see here. When you have an extra chromosome, and it can cause some interesting problems. So what, if I remember correctly, don't quote me on this, of course, I'm just a moth on the internet talking about stuff. So, he, basically this syndrome, KS, basically causes some problems with your reproductive organs, and can make them atrophy. And if nobody knows what the word atrophy means, it basically means like kind of waste away. So he had a very small PP, and that did not help him with his mental image of himself at all. He also had a weight problem. He was a bit of a larger guy, which I know plenty of people that have no problems with larger guys, but he really, between the KS and the weight problems, he really felt like nobody wanted to be around him. Which, as somebody who suffers with mental images or self-image issues myself, I get it. But also, like, come on, man. Like, yeah, you have to do what you can, the best that you can. So, while he's sitting there struggling with this, he is also living in Georgia with, friends and family and stuff like that. He has a couple of friends, not a lot, like 3, okay. And he's living with his parents, and his friends basically describe him as being a nice guy, but really, what's the term? Antisocial. Like, he doesn't really go out very much. He doesn't really go do stuff with them. He's nice, but, he's just quiet. So, this is how everybody kind of knew him, as just kind of the quiet Ricardo, who had some problems, but was a very nice guy. Just in general. Polite. And let me measure. Overdo this. Look. And I'm actually kind of pulling the yarn taut. So this is a chain stitch, basically. Going back into a crochet tutorial a little bit. This is a chain stitch, which is basically just a single stitch making a chain looking thing. Big shock. The chain stitch looks like a chain. And when I add stitches to this, it basically will kind of stretch this out. I'm trying to like stretch it so that I can get an accurate length of what this is. So it's kind of roughly sitting around just like 12 and a half. And I'm wanting to go to 20, so we got a minute. But back to the story. So Ricardo was also known to do his best to try to like heal his feelings, and he had a diary, which, good for him. Would really love that the diary would have helped him with some of the coping things that he needed to help with, but we'll get into that later. So he was known to keep a diary, and had actually, at the time of his passing, he had been, they had found a 800-page diary that was semi-recent. So this was, I believe, don't quote me on this was like a year or so worth of diary. A little bit longer, probably. So he had done this diary this entire time. And this is where, like, you can start seeing the other part of Ricardo. Everybody just knows him as the quiet, shy introvert, but on the inside, reading his diary, you can start to see there's some mental illness kind of popping up here, okay? This is where, like, things get a little, like, I'm an MLA citation quote. Please don't quote me. I'm just a dumb moth here. I'm here for entertainment only, Tommy. Damn it. Any cahoodles. So, he had previously greatly admired an actress. Sorry, I just took a big swig of my AT. Actress Gina Davis, who is a lovely, very beautiful woman. And this picture is actually from the Oscars in 1993. Gorgeous black dress, by the way. Love it. And he had actually greatly admired this actress. So he really thought that she was like the cat's meow here, okay? It'd be a little bit over 18. So he really thought that she was the cat's meow, and he just thought that she was just abstractly cool. Which I completely agree. She's gorgeous. And So, we've got a little bit of a stalker thing going on, but he's just kind of really obsessed right now. I wouldn't say this has crossed into the bounds of stalker-ness. So he's just really into this actress. And then she goes on and later dates a director, Rennie Harlan. And they have their relationship, and that's fine. But of course, Ricardo here, has lost interest in her. Measuring again. And it looks like we are just 20 inches, which is perfect. Exactly what I wanted. In a second. So at this point, I'm going to go ahead and basically, when you crochet, you usually go like back and forth like this. So I'm going to go back on my knitting or on my crochet this way to get started. And I'm really only going to do a single crochet for this project. I just want this shawl to be nice and like snug. Like, I don't know, something you wrap yourself around and really get cozy. I said my name. We should have a drinking game every time I say my name. Anyway, back to the story. So, at this point, Gina Davis has gone on. She is dating her person. She's very happy, etc., etc. And Ricardo kind of just dropped off. He's like, "Oh, okay. Well, that's fine. I'll just, I'll let it go." He's upset about it, sure, but he's not like upset about it. Maybe a little sad. But that's fine, Everybody gets in relationships, blah, 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 blah. So he's sitting in his home, and he is... Zip. Yes. So he is sitting in his apartment, and he is hanging out, and he's watching some TV, as everybody does, on the weekend, and he watches, was it MTV? Everybody remembers MTV, right? I don't need to explain what MTV is. Please. We're gonna assume you know what MTV is. Music television. Anyway. So he's sitting there watching MTV on a normal day when a music video comes on from the actress, or from the singer-songwriter Bjork. Okay, and this is back when there was music. Yes, actually. I don't know why MTV isn't music, but anyway. That's a tangent. Let me drink my tea. But yes, back. Bjork, music, pick one. So, back when MTV still had music videos on there, because, it was music TV. Ugh. It actually really bothers me that how many channels. I'm gonna go on this side tangent here, so just... I hate how many channels are like the History Channel, and the History Channel has turned into like Conspiracy Theory Channel, and I'm like, excuse me, you're the History Channel, what are you doing? Same thing with MTV, TLC, like everything else. Every channel has had a change. It upsets me. Okay, just a little bit. Friendly reminder that Honey Boo Boo was on TLC, the Learning Channel. Thank you, Dan. Yes. Explain to me how Honey Boo Boo is on the Learning Channel. Is it I want an explanation. I would like a written formal apology. Because this is not okay. I learned how low we could sink. That's actually fair, Dan. That's actually fair. Same with what's that other TLC show? The one with the like 17 and count, like 17 kids and counting. I stared into the abyss. It blinked. You know, Honey Boo Boo is kind of an abyss in and of herself, but that's mean. I'm sorry. I mean, it's true, but I'm sorry. Still, that's mean. wasn't pregnant 16 and pregnant on TLC? I have to look this up real fast. It's gonna actually bother me if I don't do it right now. I need to change my mute. I need to change my mute button. I have a mute button on my keyboard, and I keep hitting it accidentally. My bad. Anyway, 16 and Pregnant is on MTV. So can somebody explain to me how 16 and Pregnant has anything to do with music TV? First time chat. Mark's user is suspicious. Don't mark Yesa as suspicious. He's just a bean. Wait, I thought I said something in here before. No, and it's okay. Fake cozy fan. You know, as soon as I get to affiliate, which might actually happen by the end of the month, I need to make everybody VIPs. There's gonna be a lot. Hold your cry. Yes. It's okay, it's alright. You're here now, and I'm very happy that you're here. Oh no, what was I talking about? If Yace's a Frankenstein's monster, wouldn't that make him a reverse organ donor? An organ taker? Yes. An organ taker sounds way more scary than a reverse organ donor. Organ taker. Haha. Ha ha ha. Ha. Anyway, Bjork. The subject of
It's not easy. It's not.
The subject of tonight's topic. Whoops. Bjork. Okay. What's O positive again? So that's a nope. I'm focusing. I'm gonna focus. To be fair, we're not helping. You guys are not helping, and it's making my brain go burr because I enjoy talking with my friends. But I'm trying to tell you a story. Teehee. Tommy. Shut up. Anyway. Pull up the slideshow. It is on the screen. That's Bjork in the corner there. That's her album that Ricardo listened to. Okay. So Ricardo is feeling sad and lonely because Gina Davis is now happily dating a director. Okay. So he's sitting at home watching MTV when it still had music videos on there and not 16 and Pregnant. You know that thing was crusty AF when they took it into evidence. Disgusting. God, I love Cozy. Thank you, Toast. I love you too. I love you too. Anyway. So, focus. Okay. So he's sitting there, he's watching MTV, everything's fine. A music video of Bjork from this album. This is her album cover in the corner there, right there. So that's her album cover from that time. I don't remember when it came out, but we'll go with the mid to late 90s, okay? So Ricardo is watching this, he sees Bjork and just instantly falls in love with her. And I mean, he is having full-blown love at first sight. Okay. Noted. Yes, noted. So he is just absolutely infatuated with this person. So he's listening to her music. I personally do not like her music, but please feel free to go and explore on your own. You might very well enjoy it. And if you do, then that is lovely. And go enjoy it yourself. But so he watches specifically a music video called Human Behavior, if you would like to go watch that specifically to get into the mind of it. It's very 90s. Okay, that is what I'll say, is an incredibly 90s music and music video. Alright. But who is this Bjork? Okay. So, Bjork is she is a singer, songwriter from, I can't remember where. Take it where you will. Bjork sounds like that. So, she was born in 1985 and raised by her single mother, Hildur. Not Hilda, but Hildur. Okay. Hildur. Hildur. And her rise to fame began in about 1977. Okay. So 2 years after Ricardo was born, he was starting to get into the whole fame world. Okay. So that's when she started, but I would say her biggest, where she went, her peak would be in the 90s. Okay, that's when everybody was experimenting with this kind of specific type of music, and it made a lot of sense because she's very experimental with her stuff. So she peaked in the 90s when everybody was kind of exploring their feelings and moods about this stuff. Okay, so she did her thing. Ricardo is sitting there in his small apartment in Florida, Hollywood, Florida, which just makes it, I think, worse that he lived in Hollywood, Florida, not just Hollywood, ... Florida. And he basically spent all of this time watching Bjork. Anytime that he could, it was listening to Bjork, watching Bjork, anything Bjork. So this is where it starts getting I used to feel for this guy. Right now you might be having a lot of sympathy for him, which is fair and understandable, because now it's this guy, he's a little overweight, he's got a genetic problem that makes finding people like a date and a lover really kind of hard and difficult for him. He's moved out on his own, so he's still a functioning member of society at this point. And this is where it starts to degrade. Okay, so he is living on his own, he's doing his own thing, but he's constantly listening to Bjork. And this is where it starts going from I really like this songwriter, singer-songwriter, into okay, we might want to take a step back here and evaluate our lives. So he has basically decided that she is it. And he decides that she is his muse. And she is his inspiration for everything. Okay. So he begins trying to write to her. So he writes a letter to her, but the letter doesn't get returned. And like, it just kind of disappeared. So honestly, what probably ended up happening was that it probably got seen by an assistant and then kind of left alone. Okay. So, God, I love to. Hydra, shut up. I love you too. Anyway. So, he draws a picture of her. So he sends a letter. The letter does not come back. And he's feeling a little dejected. Like, oh my God, she didn't notice me. Probably ended up happening is assistant opened it and didn't do it. So then he decides that clearly the letter wasn't enough. She wants more from me. Senpai did not notice me. Yes, Dan, exactly that. Senpai did not notice him. So he decided that he's got a great idea. He's gonna paint her. So he paints a picture of Bjork and sends that to her. And he's very excited about this. He's waiting by the mailbox. He's like, oh my God, she has to notice me now. He's writing in his diary daily, and he's like, look, she's gonna notice this painting, and she's gonna fall in love with me because of how dedicated I am to her. Okay, so this is where we're like, okay, Ricardo, deep breaths here, man. And he has even remarked that he wants a relationship with her, but he doesn't want a sexual relationship with her. He just wants to be around her. Parasocial MFer, yes. This is where we start going from, okay, nice guy Ricardo, to like, hey, oh, bud, you're walking off the ledge here. So he's writing in there that he doesn't even want a sexual relationship with her. And the reason why he doesn't want this intimate relationship with Bjork is because he feels like his body is so disgusting that he doesn't want to soil Bjork's purity. Okay, and by the way, when I say purity, she had a kid. Okay? So it's not like take virginity kind of soiling. He just felt like his body was so gross that just if he ever touched her, it would soil her pure, inspirational stuff. Yeah. So he's like, he's just absolutely obsessed about this. And this is where hit her with the Ricardo Riz. Yeah, the Ricardo Riz is gonna get extra spicy here in a second. So he is waiting on this letter from her. Am I back? Am I back? Xfinity, yes. It literally just a little pop-up. Disconnected. Anyway. Moving along. I guess. So he's waiting on this response from this letter, or from this painting, and he just knows that she's gonna respond. He's just so excited because he's gonna get a call from Bjork, that, oh my God, you've painted me so beautifully, I must come and live with you and be your muse. Because that's obviously what every person does when they have a stalker, is that. I was slicing some 3D print models, and then the room went silent. I thought the computer broke again. Nope, just my computer. Well, actually, just my internet just piecing out, actually. Yeah, the internet just decided to peace out. Anyway, so here's where all my sympathy dies for Bjork. Not Bjork. Ricardo. Bjork is fine. I have nothing against. But Ricardo. Here's where all my sympathy dies. So he's sitting there waiting around, keeping up with the news on anything Bjork. And he hears the most devastating news for him. And I would like to preface this with, for him. Not for anybody else, but for him. Bjork is seen with a music producer named Goldie. And this is them, pictured, it's Goldie and Bjork together. And Ricardo is known as a bit of a racist. Actually, not a bit. He is known as a racist. Very racist. And this is where all my, I don't care about you anymore. So he is now furious. Okay, he is so angry by this betrayal that Bjork would possibly date a black man, because how dare she? Which doesn't make any sense to me. She seems very happy here. But so Ricardo is furious. How dare she? Especially when he hasn't received a letter back about the painting that he sent. Just in the same way that the letter didn't letter back. Sorry, man, you're just kind of getting lost in the crowd of fans. Just a fan. But he starts to lose it. Because how dare she? So he goes and he buys a video camera for his birthday. This is where it starts getting really dark. So if you... Bless you, Hydra. Bless you, Hydra, again. How dare you interrupt my stream with your sneeze? I don't really care. Bless you. Anyway, so this is what he does. So for his birthday, he ends up buying himself a camcorder. And he decides that this is going to be the time. He has... Salute. Tommy says salute. Anyway, so this is where it gets dark. So if you guys are... Protect your own mental peace. Okay, this is where the trigger warning really kind of comes in. So... My old boss used to say bless you twice, and then you say you get two. Hang on, I see Dan's comment, but hang on. So, Gamma, I have a coworker in the Moth Cave, and she likes to sneeze about 8 times in a row. And so it literally is like a bless you, and then you wait until she finishes sneezing, and then you're like, are you done? Okay, bless you. And Dan, he decides to show her who's boss by also dating Goldie. I wish that's how this ended. I would love for this to be how that ended. You know, we're just gonna say that's how it ended. Anyway, everybody have a great night. You know, we'll go ahead and head on out to the ending stream. Is there anybody to rate? Okay. So, he's losing his mind. And he decides that he has a great plan. Ricardo is going to get back at Bjork by building a bomb. As any rational person would do to a celebrity who's dating somebody. He decides that he's going to fix Bjork by doing terrible things and making a bomb. You don't just have that lying around your house. No, Kami, I don't. Hey, Mick. Nice to see you. It's a Mick. It's a Mick. We're talking about the Bjork Stalker. This is where things start getting a little heavy. So protect your peace, Mick. If things start getting a lot of get pretty dark. So be prepared. So he starts video diarying, and basically what he is doing is that he is trying to make this like kind of long form video talking about what his plans are, how he's going to get back at Bjork for betraying him by dating a black man. Okay, this is where we start going, mental illness? You don't say. So that's where it like started. It was in January for his birthday when he bought the camera, and you just watch this, like, he just is going further down and down and down into the mental spiral that he's in. And by like June, July, he has it figured out. He is going to go ahead, and by the way, June, July is when Bjork started dating Goldie. So this really seems to show the catalyst. So he figures out what he's gonna do. He's talking to this camera, and the way he's talking to it, you can technically go and find these videos. I don't recommend it. They're hard to watch. I've watched a few minutes of them. I couldn't actually watch more. And that should tell you something, because I'm the type of person who will watch pretty much anything. I don't really care. But I had to stop. So basically, Ricardo decides that he is going to hollow out a book. I'm not going to tell you the full how he's going to plan to do this, blah, 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 blah. Specifics. I don't want to get banned. But he's going to take a bunch of used needles. I believe, let me see. Let me look at my notes. Hang on. There we go. Okay. So he's talking to the camera, but it's like he's talking to somebody specifically. This is where, like, that's why I hate the video. Is because he's talking to somebody specifically, and it really sounds like he's trying to talk to either the FBI or even Bjork herself. Like, as if Bjork would even watch these, okay? But he's behaving like that to this camera, like he has an audience now. And he decides he's going to hollow out a book, and he is going to have a bunch of needles infected with HIV spring out of the book. And that's how he's going to get back at Bjork for doing this racial betrayal. But he then is telling the camera that he decides later that that's just not really going to work, because he would have to find infected blood. How did he get HIV needles? So he didn't. That was his thought process. He was like, I've got a great plan. I'm going to go get this stuff. And then, like, figured out, like, oh man, that's going to be really difficult. How am I going to get HIV positive blood without, like, causing a stir? Because he's not dumb. He doesn't want to get caught, but he wants to make a big impact. Literally, with a bomb. So, he decides HIV. That's too much. Too complicated. So, what? The better thing that he's gonna do... Better thing? The better plan, I guess? Is that he is going to fill the book, because he really likes this whole book thing, okay? The book bomb. He really likes the book bomb idea. He is going to fill this book to spray sulfuric acid onto Bjork. And he even explains this to the camera. He shows himself hollowing out the book, getting things ready, getting the mechanics ready. Again, not going to talk about it too much, but the plan basically is that as soon as she goes to open the book, just spray on her face, hopefully. And he didn't really explain what he was hoping was going to happen. Personally, I think he was hoping for disfigurement. So that, like, every time that she looked at the mirror, she would be reminded of him. You know, he's got this grand plan. And I don't think it was to kill her. I think it was just to make her aware of how mad he was, because, you know, he really cares about this random guy in Hollywood, Florida. So he then films himself packing it up, picking up this book, labeling it. He was able to find her address, which from like one of those websites where like you pay $5 and you learn celebrities' addresses. So Bjork's address was on there, so he paid like $5. He said it was super easy, which is just terrifying, by the way. So he films himself going to the post office and says to the camera, if this doesn't go well, then I'm just gonna go ahead and kill myself, because I would rather unalive myself than get caught.
Already said it once.
I know, which is why I'm trying not to say it again, Hydra. I would much rather unalive myself than get caught. It's just terrifying, okay? So he goes to the post office, the camera turns on again, and he would rather play Sudoku than get caught. Yes! Sudoku. I can't talk, which is really unfortunate that I'm talking as a podcast. So the camera turns back on again after the post office, and he's ecstatic. He's like, they took it without any problem. They just took it. And in the mail, in the US postage system, is this book. Prepared to go off with sulfuric acid as soon as it's opened. So, this is where we're at the end of the spiral. And again, trigger warning. Very dark. So he then goes home from the post office and he shaves his head, puts on red and green face paint, and rouges his nipples. So, and this is where we're at. And he then dances for the camera while listening to Bjork. So while he is doing this, he is talking and screaming and stuff like this, talking about his plans for Bjork, and he sets up some poster board or a canvas or something like that. It's hard to see in the picture. And he finger paints on there, on the canvas. He's soy jacking. Hang on, my notes just shut off, so give me just a second. This is such great timing for my notes to shut off. That's so fun. Oh good, my notes completely closed. So anyway, during this incredibly uncomfortable time, he has set up a poster board and finger painted onto the poster board. Typed it improv. Yes, I am waffling right now while I am trying to talk about this. Yeah, so everybody's having a great day. I hope nobody's having as bad of a day as Ricardo. Okay, so on the canvas, or poster board, whatever it is, he finger paints the best of me onto the poster board. And, you know, we were watching this video, and really you could see this is his final descent into this. And he sits in front of the camera with the TV visible behind him, and he takes the .38 gun that he has and he fires it. What did I say? Caliber gun. 38. He takes the .38 and he fires it. His original plans, what that he had talked about previously, was that the .38 was going to go off and the canvas was going to have splatter. That's why it said the best of me, and it was going to have his blood splatter all over it. The .38 was not powerful enough. It stopped in his brain. But this is the end of Ricardo. So now, here's the thing, is that now a couple of days later, so 4 days later, so he dies September 12th of 96. September 16th of 96, the neighbor below him begins to report black ooze dripping from the ceiling, and he calls for a welfare check of the apartment above him. The police go in, find Ricardo, how he is, and the tape basically just saying, "Watch me." So the police confiscate it. They figure it's basically a sewer slide note, but just a video camera version. So they go ahead and they watch it, and as they're watching it, this is a lot of content. Okay, this is like, he filmed for months. He filmed for 9 months about his slow descent into madness. So the police are watching this, and as they get to the point of realizing, cinnamon flavored raid, I got a raid? Hi! Welcome, raiders. I'm talking about the Bjork Stalker. We're actually getting into kind of a dark subject, so please protect your mental peace. But hi. So thank you for raiding. I appreciate it. I hope you had a good raid. I am Cozy Cryptids. I talk about stuff. I talk about spooky stories. And currently talk about the Bjork Stalker, etc. Protect your peace, yada yada. I hope you had a great stream. I've never been raided before. I just did. Okay. So, I guess continuing on. So the police are basically watching Ricardo's video, and this was working on some crochet stuff for yourself. I finished your bow dice bag for a commission. Oh, lovely. I am currently working on a shawl. It's obviously really coming along great. I've only done 2 rows. I've been spending too much time talking. That's okay. That's the whole point, right? Is to chit chat and crochet. So the police are watching this video and watches Ricardo slow descent into madness. Effectively Pikachu of the Yu-Gi-Oh! Oh, well, that would be really cool as a dice bag. I've been working on this shawl because I just kind of really wanted to start a new project. Yes, I have 11 other projects that I should be working on right now, but why not start a new one? So the police are watching this and they realize that Ricardo basically built a book bomb and mailed it, which means that this is in the mail. Ain't that just the way it sure is? So they realize that, oh my god, this is in the mail. We need to figure out where this is. And all they know is that it went from Hollywood, Florida, where Ricardo was, to, I believe, London? Don't quote me on that, but I believe London, somewhere in the United Kingdom, where Bjork was living at the time, with her 9-year-old son. 9-year-old son. So, they search his apartment, do all of this. They're trying to find a way to figure out where the package is. If it has already gotten to Bjork, what's going on? So, Hollywood, Florida police contact Scotland Yard and said, hey, guys, by the way, terrible things on the way. There's literally this horrible thing. Sent them the video. It was like, watch this. This is what's happening. Scotland Yard goes, oh my god. We need to go find this right now. So they intercept all of Bjork's mail. And the book bomb that Ricardo had sent was found, I believe, within an hour of her house. So it was literally on the way to get delivered to her. Now, Bjork had said that she doesn't open mail herself, so there wasn't going to be what Ricardo had wanted. Snail mail. Yeah. It took... Yeah, snail mail. So, what Ricardo had wanted was this disfigurement of Bjork, and that just wasn't going to happen because she's not the one who opens the mail. But Ricardo, in his state of mind, wasn't thinking that an assistant would open the mail. So, now of course this is diffused, and this book bomb is diffused, and everybody is safe. But, you know, at the end of the day, like, somebody died, and Bjork was heavily affected by this. She even had made she had gone on TV talking about how sad it was that, you know, this guy had done all of this stuff to basically try to get her attention, and she wishes that she had known who he was and would have sent a letter back, you know, for the art and for the letter that he had sent previously, and, you know, stuff. But she didn't know, and she couldn't have known. She was just incredibly relieved that her and her son were safe. What? Oh, is that? Yeah. So, I feel for Bjork, because, you know, this is obviously a terrifying situation for herself, you know. Her son was it could have been harmed. She could have been harmed. Her assistant who opens the mail could have been harmed. This was a bad situation. She sent flowers to Ricardo's family to apologize. Just in the, like, hey, I feel your grief. I'm so sorry this is happening. And I get that. But at the same time, she clearly took this on herself. Imagine if she read his letter and it all said was, you missed a note in that song one time. Honestly, this is your fault. Oh. You know, I wonder what was in the letter myself. Nobody really knows because it probably thrown away. But it was supposedly a letter confessing his love. And I feel like so many people get that anyway. To be fair, that's the assistant's job, though, like poison tester of old. Yes, but also, man, that would have sucked. That would have sucked so bad. That would have really sucked. So, And this clearly affected Bjork, of course. I bet he wrote it with an uncomfortable amount of ellipses. Yes, I guarantee. He's that type. But Bjork kind of stopped making music for a while. She just kind of disappeared from the public. She kind of turned introverted on this because it's such a dramatic thing herself. And her son actually had bodyguards because she was so panicked about her son getting hurt that she hired bodyguards to try to keep him safe. And at the end of the day, I feel like she took on too much responsibility herself. This was, even if she had responded to the letter or to the picture, I feel like it would have only had made Ricardo worse. This is one of those, like, mental health is something you have in check. You are isolating yourself at this point. You should be help, or your friends should help, your coworker. Somebody should be trying to help you. Just sinking deeper into this obsession just wasn't helpful, and it caused problems. And she shouldn't have taken on that emotional burden, but she did. And even to this day, she won't talk about it. There was a lot of people who had tried to get interviews with her and try to get her to talk about it. And, oh, well, what do you feel? How do you think about this? What about this? Did you know anything about this? Did you know him? And she just won't talk about it. She will leave an interview if it's being discussed. And I feel that's incredibly fair. Bro, yeah. No, interviewers are notoriously terrible about that. She made points to be like, do not ask me about this. You know, this was in the 90s. Everybody had TV. Everybody very active about this. So this was a big topic. So literally she would go into interviews and say, do not talk to me about this subject. And people would go, okay, yeah, of course. Okay, we're live. Great. Anyway, about Ricardo Lopez, your stalker, how do you feel? And she would just get up and leave. And that is, I feel like, the best thing that she's done. Now, on that is kind of the end of the Bjork Stalker. Justified, very justified. I would happily have walked out of an interview if somebody tried to talk about something I did not want to talk about. Oh, bro, yes, bro. So that's kind of the end of the Bjork Stalker. Obviously, it was with the whole but that's the end of the story for today. That is the end of the about the Bjork Stalker. Yeah, it's kind of a rough one. It's a rough topic, I won't lie. So I hope everybody's okay. But it is part of it. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. But I hope you guys enjoyed the topic and the discussion. I hope that everybody had a good time. Well, it might not have been the funnest of topic. I hope you guys learned something. I'm gonna... Yeah, I'm not like done yet, but we're wrapping up anyway. So, on that lovely, delightful note, let me see, what is a better topic? I usually like to end off with trying to let you guys know, get you guys a sneak peek, a little sneak peek about what is going to be next week's topic. And next week's topic is going to be the Panama missing hikers. Now, here's the thing about that, is that I couldn't really find a good name for this. So I kind of just did the Panama missing hikers because I don't know exactly what else to call them. But we will talk about this next week. And that is going to be leading up to our big Halloween stream, which I am ecstatic for. I am so excited for our Halloween stream. It's going to be epic. And with that, we're all wrapped up. I hope everybody has a lovely night. Please travel safely. And how to spell squabby? I can never how to spell squabby. And I believe we're gonna raid Squabby, and I'm terrible at spelling Squabby, so you know what? He's on my follow list. I just can never get it fixed. Thank you. And we currently do not have a raid message, but fun thing is that I think I might hit affiliate in October. I am particularly excited about that. So anyway, everybody have a lovely evening. And I will go ahead. Oh, y'all have a lovely night. Bye. Squappy is